The PTVs that we have behind us, we have now completed 100% distribution of PTVs to every province, to every city, to every municipality in the Philippines. That's why the province have two, the municipalities, the cities have one and two, depending on how large they are. Kaya sa wakas, nakumpleto rin natin ang pagbigay nitong patient transport vehicles at lahat na ng ating mga LGU ay meron na tayong masasabi na magagamit nila para sa kanilang mga pasyente.
Radio Pilipinas World Service can also be heard on shortwave broadcast through the shortwave facilities of the United States Agency for Global Media or Voice of America on the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.750 MHz, and 21.720 MHz. I'm your host, Leo Magpayo, and this is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. extended his warm greetings to the Iglesia ni Cristo or INC as it marks its 112th anniversary. In his message, the President highlighted the INC's journey from humble beginnings to becoming a global religious institution, serving as a steadfast guide rooted in faith, discipline, and responsibility. He said the Church's enduring work reinforces the moral foundation of society, reminding Filipinos that devotion and integrity uplift communities. President Marcos urged INC members to deepen their commitment to service, translating beliefs into meaningful acts that comfort the weary, uplift those in need, and foster harmony wherever they serve. He encouraged the faithful to remain partners in nation building, where citizenship is expressed through genuine concern for others. The chief executive assured that government stands in solidarity with organizations that strengthen families, promote peace, and expand compassion across the country. President Marcos said the INC's anniversary is also a moment for renewed reflection on its sacred mission as the nation continues building the pillars of a bagong Pilipinas.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is set to deliver his penultimate State of the Nation Address or SONA on Monday, July 27th, with corruption, economic resilience, and territorial defense expected to headline his report to the Filipino people. Speaking in Pampanga Province, the President revealed his speech is 90% complete, but open to revisions as he prepares to outline how the nation is navigating this very difficult period amid global and regional tensions. Flood mitigation remains a flashpoint with ongoing probes into anomalous projects. President Marcos, who last year scolded erring officials with the line, "Mahiya naman kayo," or in English, "Shame on you," is expected to reaffirm his vow that infrastructure funds must yield real results. Initiatives such as the Sumbong sa Pangulo platform and the now concluded Independent Commission for Infrastructure highlight his push for transparency and accountability. President Marcos is also expected to showcase the country's economic trajectory after reaching upper middle income status. His recent foreign trips have centered on investments, job creation, and industry expansion. The president is likely to present a forward-looking agenda to sustain growth despite global headwinds. Maritime security will be a major theme. Just days before the SONA, tensions flared at Ayungin Shoal when a Philippine Navy sailor was injured in a confrontation with the China Coast Guard. President Marcos summoned Beijing's envoy, signaling his intent to reset ties while asserting Philippine rights under international law. The chief executive is also expected to highlight programs for vulnerable sectors. Following his March declaration of a national energy emergency, Executive Order 110 introduced the Unified Package for Livelihoods, Industry, Food and Transport, or UPLIFT framework to safeguard livelihoods, industries, and food security. Updates on beneficiaries and program delivery are anticipated. As President Marcos delivers his fifth SONA, Filipinos await not only a tally of achievements but also concrete strategies to confront corruption, sustain economic momentum, defend sovereignty, and protect the welfare of the nation.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine National Police, or PNP, is reinforcing its commitment to human rights as it rolls out one of the largest security operations for President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s State of the Nation Address, or SONA 2026. National Capital Region Police Office, or NCRPO Director, Police Major General Anthony Aberin said, officers on the ground will be guided by discipline, vigilance, and respect for civil liberties. He emphasized strict adherence to police operational procedures, maximum tolerance in crowd management, and professionalism in all public interactions. Authorities are urging citizens to cooperate with security measures, follow traffic advisories, and report suspicious activity to ensure a safe and peaceful SONA. More than 21,000 police personnel and augmentation forces from various PNP units have been deployed across Metro Manila. The NCRPO has already conducted inspections around the Batasang Pambansa, checking deployment sites, unit coordination, and readiness for possible contingencies. Security preparations include traffic rerouting, crowd control, and rapid response teams positioned to address emergencies. Specialized units are also on standby to monitor protest actions, safeguard critical infrastructure, and protect the public. The NCRPO stressed that the operation is not only about maintaining order, but also about guaranteeing that the constitutional right to peaceful assembly is respected. By balancing firmness with restraint, police officials say they aim to deliver a secure environment where the president can address the nation and citizens can freely express their views.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police, or PNP, is reminding protesters that the burning of effigies and other protest paraphernalia will be strictly prohibited during President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s State of the Nation Address, or SONA, on Monday, July 27th. PNP spokesperson Police Colonel Alan Rayco says officers will exhaust all peaceful means to prevent the burning of effigies and protest images. He warns that such acts not only harm the environment but also pose safety risks to rally participants and the public. Authorities stress that if demonstrators persist, the law will take its course. Still, the PNP assures that maximum tolerance will be observed in handling rallies and protest actions nationwide. Security forces are preparing for large crowds expected to gather around the Batasang Pambansa and other protest sites. Police units have been instructed to balance firmness with restraint, ensuring that constitutional rights to free expression and peaceful assembly are respected while maintaining public safety. The PNP is calling on rally organizers and participants to cooperate with guidelines, avoid hazardous acts, and focus on peaceful demonstrations. Officials emphasize that the goal is to secure a safe environment where citizens can voice their concerns without endangering themselves or others.
The PTVs that we have behind us, we have now completed 100% distribution of PTVs to every province, to every city, to every municipality in the Philippines. That's why the province have 2, the municipalities, cities have 1 and 2 depending on how large they are. Kaya sa wakas, nakumpleto rin natin ang pagbigay nitong patient transport vehicles at lahat na ng ating mga LGU ay meron na tayong
Units are stationed under the Ortigas flyover and at the monument itself, tasked with crowd control and maintaining order in these symbolic protest sites. Earlier, officers conducted formation and accounting before being allowed a brief rest ahead of full deployment. The security operation is reinforced by personnel from the PNP National Headquarters in Camp Crame, providing additional support to ensure smooth coordination and readiness. Command posts have been set up along White Plains Avenue, complete with tents and standby ambulances to respond to any emergencies. Police officials emphasize that the deployment is part of a comprehensive plan to safeguard public safety and maintain peace during the SONA. While no protest actions have been reported early Monday morning, authorities remain on alert for possible demonstrations. As of Monday morning, traffic flow around the EDSA Shrine and People Power Monument remains normal, with police presence visible but unobtrusive. The PNP assures the public that security measures are in place to protect both citizens and participants in Monday's national event.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Manila Police District, or MPD, has enforced road closures and rerouting in key areas of the capital as part of security measures for President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s 5th State of the Nation Address, or SONA, on Monday. At Liwasang Bonifacio, Magallanes Drive from Jones to MacArthur Bridge is closed, along with the southbound lane of MacArthur Bridge from Plaza Lacson and the southbound lane of Quezon Boulevard from A. Mendoza and Fogoso Street to Quezon Bridge. Lerma Street's southbound lane from España Boulevard and P. Campa to A. Mendoza Boulevard is also affected. In Mendiola, portions of CM Recto Avenue from N. Reyes Street to Mendiola and Legarda Street from Figueras to San Rafael Street have been shut down. Vehicles are also barred from Ayala Bridge and the eastbound lane of Ayala Boulevard from San Marcelino to Romualdez Street. Motorists are advised to take alternative routes including Jones Bridge, CM Recto Avenue, N. Reyes Street, Figueras Street, Taft Avenue, and United Nations Avenue. The MPD is urging drivers to allot extra travel time and follow the guidance of traffic enforcers to avoid congestion. Police officials emphasize that these measures are designed to ensure order and safety around the SONA venue, while minimizing disruption to commuters. As of Monday morning, traffic flow remains manageable with rerouting schemes in place and enforcement teams deployed across affected areas.
Dateline Malacañang.
Half of the Marcos Jr. administration's 52 priority bills have been approved by the House of Representatives during the first regular session of the 20th Congress. These measures, identified by the Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or LEDAC, are designed to support President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s reform agenda. House Majority Leader Ferdinand Alexander Marcos of Ilocos Norte says lawmakers will push to pass the remaining bills in the second regular session, stressing the need to streamline implementation so citizens can easily access programs and benefits. So far, 21 bills have been enacted. One, the Cybersecurity Act, is already on the calendar of business, while another measure, disqualifying relatives of officials up to the fourth degree from government contracts, awaits a committee report. 9 bills are under review by the Committee on Appropriations, including proposals to modernize the Bureau of Immigration, accelerate classroom construction, and strengthen disaster risk financing. 15 more are still in technical working groups or committee deliberations. These include amendments to the Universal Health Care Act, the Rice Tarification Law, and the Anti-Money Laundering Act, as well as measures on single-use plastics, online gambling, and party list system reform. Lawmakers say the legislative agenda reflects structural reforms aimed at boosting governance, accountability, and public service delivery as Congress enters its second session.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has signed Republic Act or RA 12321, institutionalizing government support for public schools in geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas or GIDA, as well as other underserved communities. Signed on July 22nd, the Last Mile and GIDA Schools Act establishes a nationwide program to close resource and facility gaps in schools that have long struggled to meet standard allocation criteria. Under the law, the Department of Education, or DepEd, must publish a national Last Mile and GIDA schools map within a year, serving as the basis for planning, resource distribution, and program implementation. The map will be updated every 3 years to reflect changing conditions and needs. Schools may be classified as Last Mile and GIDA institutions if they serve communities affected by conflict, insecurity, disaster vulnerability, or other barriers to safe access to education. Schools with more than 75% indigenous learners also qualify, with implementation guided by the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act of 1997. The law directs DepEd to adopt national accessibility standards for school seating and infrastructure, ensuring facilities are safe, durable, climate and disaster resilient, and suited to local conditions. Sustainable materials such as bamboo may be integrated into construction and rehabilitation projects. Teachers and staff assigned to underserved areas will receive comprehensive support packages coordinated with the Department of Budget and Management, or DBM, local governments, and other agencies. DepEd is also mandated to track learner participation, retention, and outcomes to monitor progress. Funding for RA 12321 will be included in the Annual General Appropriations Act. The law takes effect 15 days after publication in the Official Gazette or a newspaper of general circulation.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has completed the nationwide rollout of patient transport vehicles or PTVs, turning over 34 units to local governments in northern and central Luzon and the Cordillera Administrative Region or CAR. The ceremonial turnover at the Pampanga capital marked the final leg of distribution. The Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office or PCSO has delivered 164 medical vans to all 82 provinces, bringing the total number of patient transport vehicles nationwide to 1,830. Each unit is equipped with GPS navigation, an ambulance stretcher, medical oxygen, a wheelchair, and a full first aid kit to ensure safe and efficient emergency transport. Alongside the medical vans, President Marcos also began distributing fire trucks under a Department of the Interior and Local Government or DILG program to address equipment shortages in municipalities. PCSO General Manager Miquiades Robles emphasized that the initiative fulfills President Marcos's directive to make emergency medical care accessible to all Filipinos, especially those in remote areas. The PTV program is part of broader PCSO health initiatives, which also include medical assistance for individuals and funding support for public health institutions nationwide.
The PTVs that we have behind us, we have now completed 100% distribution of PTVs to every province, to every city, to every municipality in the Philippines. That's why the province have 2, the municipalities, cities have 1 and 2 depending on how large they are. Kaya sa wakas, nakumpleto rin natin ang pagbigay nitong patient transport vehicles at lahat na ng ating mga LGU ay meron na tayong masasabi na magagamit nila para sa kanilang mga pasyente. At kung titingnan ninyo, doon naman may display, may barko doon na maliit na doon, yun ang isusunod namin. Dahil siyempre maraming isla dito sa Pilipinas, paano pagka yung pasyente ililipat, bubuhatin pa, dadalhin sa barko, pababa, etc. Ngayon, ang gagawin sa design na yan ay isasakay na yung transport, isasakay na doon sa barko. Kaya yung pasyente hindi na kailangan bumaba doon sa kanyang transport vehicle. Kasama rin today ang pagbigay ng mga fire truck. Dahil ito ang sinimula natin na procurement schedule para sa lahat ng local governments. Ito naman ay programa ng DILG. Kasi alam naman natin kung minsan yung mga ibang bayan ay hindi sila nagkakaroon ng sapat na magamit para sa kanilang mga farta. Yung iba wala. Yung iba masyado ng luma na. Kaya binabago natin lahat at the funding is available. It's just a question of procurement. And gagawin natin yung fire truck together with the ipaparehas natin dito sa programa, dito sa patient transport vehicle. So we have completed the patient transport vehicle. We are beginning now on the fire trucks and we will get to the point where we will be able to provide all LGUs with a fire truck. And titignan natin kung paano ang distribution ng province, city at saka municipality. Kaya patuloy para ang serbisyo sa tao ay maganda at maging mas maginhawa ang pagbabiyahe, maging mas maganda ang ating mga serbisyo, lalong-lalo na kapag magkaroon ng sunog. Ngayon, nandito na tayo, may mga fire truck na tayo. Inaantay lang natin ang pagdating. Nabili na ito, na-order na ito, mga fire truck na ito. Inaantay na lang natin ang pagdating nila bago natin i-distribute.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang says the Philippines will continue engaging with the United States after Washington imposed an additional 12.5% tariff on Philippine exports, citing alleged failure to prevent the entry of goods produced with forced labor. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro stressed that Manila respects the U.S. decision but underscored the country's strong policy against forced labor. She noted that the Department of Trade and Industry or DTI, Department of Finance or DOF, and the Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE signed a joint administrative order this week to establish a mechanism preventing the importation of products linked to forced labor practices. The Office of the U.S. Trade Representative, or USTR, announced the tariff increase following its investigation into America's top 60 trading partners. The USTR concluded that the Philippines failed to impose and effectively enforce a forced labor import prohibition. Trade Secretary Maria Cristina Roque emphasized that despite the tariff, the Philippines values its strategic relationship with Washington. She pointed out that Philippine exports, particularly electronics, semiconductors, and agricultural products, play a crucial role in supporting U.S. supply chain stability. Officials say the government will continue to pursue dialogue with the U.S. while strengthening domestic safeguards against forced labor, ensuring that Philippine trade remains resilient and compliant with international standards.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, together with the United States Pacific Command and the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, have successfully concluded the 17th Multilateral Maritime Cooperative Activity, or MMCA, in the West Philippine Sea. The 5-day exercise ran from July 21 to the 25th, 2026. Philippine assets included the BRP Antonio Luna, Navy AW-109 helicopter, Air Force FA-50 fighter jets, TC-90, A-29B Super Tucano, C-208B aircraft, and a Sokol search and rescue helicopter. The Coast Guard deployed BRP Melchor Aquino and BRP Malabrigo. The U.S. sent the USS Santa Barbara with an MH-60S helicopter and P-8A patrol aircraft, while Japan participated with the destroyer JS Uudachi. Throughout the activity, forces carried out advanced interoperability drills, communication exercises, replenishment at sea, division tactics, officer of the watch maneuvers, deck landing qualifications, photo exercises, vertical replenishment, cross-deck landings, and flyby operations. The AFP says the MMCA underscores the enduring partnership among the three nations in promoting peace, stability, and security in the Indo-Pacific. It also reflects the Philippines' commitment to freedom of navigation and overflight while deterring illegal and coercive activities in the West Philippine Sea.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines and Panama are strengthening bilateral ties following the historic visit of Panamanian Foreign Minister Javier Eduardo Martinez Acha Vasquez to Manila. The visit aims to expand cooperation in maritime affairs, education, trade, and connectivity between the Indo-Pacific and Latin America. Foreign Affairs Secretary Maria Teresa Lazaro described the trip as the first high-level visit from Panama in decades, underscoring the deepening relationship between the two nations. Maritime cooperation was a key focus, with both sides highlighting Panama's position as home to the world's largest ship registry and the Philippines' role as a leading source of skilled maritime professionals. The two countries agreed to enhance collaboration in maritime education, training, and capacity building. A Memorandum of Understanding or MOU on academic cooperation was also signed, designed to strengthen human capital development, knowledge exchange, and people-to-people connections. Both nations reaffirmed their support for a rules-based international order, respect for international law, and adherence to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS. The Philippines and Panama also committed to boosting Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN-Latin America relations, promoting wider cooperation in trade and addressing regional and global challenges.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, voters in 5 coastal barangays or villages of Parañaque City have overwhelmingly ratified an ordinance redrawing their territorial boundaries adjoining the reclaimed areas in Manila Bay. Official results from the Commission on Elections or COMELEC show 11,597 residents voted yes to City Ordinance Number 2023-19, while 2,254 voted no. The measure affects barangays Baclaran, Tambo, Don Galo, La Huerta, and San Dionisio. The Plebiscite Board of Canvassers proclaimed the ordinance's approval after canvassing all 151 returns from the 5 barangays. Out of 79,251 registered voters, 13,873 participated in the plebiscite. COMELEC spokesperson John Rex Laudianco noted the July 25 polls set a record for speed, with the canvassing completed and proclamation issued within 6 hours of polls closing. Officials say the ratification paves the way for clearer jurisdictional boundaries in Parañaque's coastal communities, ensuring proper governance and resource allocation in areas affected by reclamation projects.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service can be heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.750 MHz, and 21.720 MHz. Radyo Pilipinas World Service is also live on audio streaming. Just download Evox PBS Receiver on your Google Play Store or the App Store from your Apple phone. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Just type in and search for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and mabuhay.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.